In this video, we're going to be talking about 2 things that you must do if you want to live a healthier life. Let's go. This isn't where you'd usually find me. And though I should definitely spend more time meditating, you're more likely to find me somewhere like here. Or here. Or probably here. But this video is about cultivating a healthier mind, and we just booked our plane tickets to India, so I'm feeling a little bit inspired. Oftentimes when I think about living a healthy life, it seems a little bit contradictory given the state of the world and the fact that many people are suffering much more greatly than I am. But it never feels selfish, because when I think of living a better life, the first thing that comes to mind is helping other people. Now that goes hand in hand with what we're going to be talking about today, and how you can live a healthier life no matter who you are.
And of course, and I really want to emphasize this point, if you're not healthy, you can't do much for the world.
There's 2 things to get down that must be tackled and must be mastered before you can live a truly healthy life and before you can be bringing your best to the world. Those 2 things are your occupation and your free time and how you spend them. Your occupation and eventually your profession, once you work up to this, should be spent doing the best that you can for the world and for other people. So that's going to look different for everybody. But for me, what that looks like is growing this YouTube channel and the Happiness Factory Gardens enterprise into something that is benefiting the world to its greatest extent, the biggest it could possibly do. But then to further that, I want to be helping other people realize what they can do themselves to do the same thing that I'm doing, which is bringing the greatest benefit that they possibly can, given their resources and capabilities, to the world. Now, when I say profession, I don't mean that someone needs to quit their job today, run to the bank, take out all their money, start a nonprofit. Some people could do that, and if you're ready to do that, then all the power to you. I wish you the best. But for most people, it's not going to look like that, because most people are stuck in a job, they're stuck paying bills, they're stuck with their lifestyle that fuels themselves and their family's survival. So what it might look like for someone in those shoes is a lot different than someone that's ready to leave their life behind and start a new one. And then the second thing that we're going to be talking about is your free time. And when I'm talking about free time, I'm talking about what you do when you're not working. Because the first part of this, your profession and your occupation, is your work. Not your hobbies, not your spare time, not what you do when you get home from work, but your actual work. That work can look a lot better than it does nowadays for most people. But then if we're talking about your free time and finding things that are healthy for your free time, what we're talking about is maybe finding a hobby that you enjoy doing that isn't detrimental to your immediate health. Maybe finding a better diet and food acquisition plan, like gardening, like we usually are covering on this channel. Things like exercise and learning an instrument or something that you can do to keep your mind active, because that's the number one thing that I've learned, which I learned actually through what we'll be covering in later videos, my mental health journey, where I was in intensive outpatient classes, basically learning how to live healthy and not end up in the hospital over and over again. And what we learned about is basically that you need to be keeping your mind active, because the number one thing that's going to bring you down is idleness. An idle mind is the devil's playground. And they used to tell us this all the time at the outpatient treatment center where I was participating in classes. I mean, look at this. This is an interactive course. It took about 6 months to finish. And if I weren't going to be participating, I wouldn't have passed the course. I wouldn't have been let back out into the real world, and I would have been back in the hospital over and over again. But I took it seriously and I learned a lot from it. So this is where I'm coming from when I'm talking about that I know a little bit about what I need to be doing. I took in this whole course, I ate it up, I digested it. Now the hard part is implementing it. So what I'm bringing to you in this video is basically the culmination of everything that I learned in that treatment, as well as the last 5+ years of my life where I've spent healthy, happy, and thriving. So let's go back to the occupation and profession, and we're going to leave the free time on the side for now because I think that's more understandable for most people. I don't think I have to go so much into that, other than just to say that you shouldn't be doing drugs. That will 100% bring you down, if not drive you insane over time. You shouldn't be drinking excessively or partying all the time. Basically, moderation is key in anything that you do, but some things shouldn't be ever done more than maybe once, if that. So anyways, that being said, let's go back to occupation and profession. Now, this is a little bit harder of a topic for people to sit with and dwell on because a lot of people, especially in today's society, are focused on surviving and getting by, getting their bills covered, getting their food in their mouths, their stomachs, having their family be brought up not in poverty. Of course, there are also people in the world who are suffering way worse than that, who literally have no means to survive. And that subset that has really no way to survive healthily, that is kind of what ties in this whole idea that we should be living a greater life than just our own needs. Now, this video, though, is for the people who are able to survive, who have jobs, who have the capability to get a job, and who have the ability to think outside the box. So when you go to a job, or when you think of getting a new job, or you're starting a career especially, those people I'm really talking to, there's a lot more that can be done than just finding a 9-to-5 that's going to feed your family. That can be done along with what I'm saying. So what you can do, and this is the real meat of this video, so stay still. What you can do is find what you really care about, what you care about in the world. When you look out and you see all these problems, find what really plucks your heartstrings and you're like, oh, I wish I could do something about that. And then go do something about that. Literally, just start. It's not an overnight thing. It's a slow progression. You slowly start building towards doing more and more in that field. And eventually, you could be that person who sells all of your assets and starts a nonprofit that your family is still taken care of. You're still taken care of. You're enjoying your life, but you feel a greater purpose because you're doing more for the world. And you shouldn't beat yourself up about not being there right now. But if you're not moving forward towards that goal, with that goal in mind, then maybe it's time to start being a little bit harder on yourself and really looking at what you might want to do. You might want to do, not me, not what I want you to do, though I do want you to do it, but what you want to do, because it's in our hearts. If you enjoyed this video and got anything out of it, please hit that like button so YouTube will spread this video a little bit further. And if you want to come along for the Happiness Factory Gardens journey, please hit that subscribe button and turn notifications to all so you're aware of all of our future uploads as we look to facilitate a worldwide large-scale charity farms network spreading love, peace, and light, happiness, and not just food, but good food too. And now I will be going back to my meditation and looking forward to our trip to India later this year. Oh.